Hello guys and welcome. This video is on shell redirections and filters. So shell redirections is basically, it helps you to redefine or redirect where your standard output goes. So normally when we are on our computer and we do this LX, this is an output. So what you have on your screen is an output. And the standard behavior of an output is to print the result out on the screen. So, aside of standard output, we also have something called status or error. So, standard error, let's say we try to access a folder that does not exist. So, you see, the first result here is your standard output, which prints out the result of the ls command. So it shows you all the files in the folder or in the computer currently. And the next one is your standard error or standard status, or your status is also an output but it's an error or a status. It's now telling us that we cannot access this folder because it does not exist. So there are two types of outputs, okay? So when you, for these two standard types, for the two outputs, the first one, which is the standard output, and the standard error or status, we can decide not to show them on the screen, and that is what this is trying to tell us. So it says that we can redirect the output to another file instead of the screen, and we use this redirection operator followed by the name of the file that we want to store the result in. So if we want to do the standard output, we do this. Okay, and if we want to store the standard error, we do this. So without much ado, let's try it out. So recall that we have this. What if we don't want to show this on our screen? Then we can do something like this. So we can say, let me clear it, LX, then redirect it to an output, and let's call this just output. Let's say output1.txt. Enter. Can you see we don't have the result of ls on the screen, but it has been redirected to this file? And let's check it out. So let's output, and as you can see, we have the result of that ls command now, but it has pushed them inside of this file called output. Now I want you to understand something. When you use just only this, that is greater than, one greater than, it is going to truncate what you have inside of this file and create a new file. Like, not that it's creating a new file, but it's going to send in a new result. It is going to clear what you have inside of that file currently and create a new result. So if we do less again, you can see what we have here. We have the normal ls command without the long listing. So let's put the long listing and see what happens. So if we go ahead to say ls/al, then we want to put the result inside of output. This is going to remove everything we currently have inside output and update it with the new LX results. So that has been done. Now let's use less. Now can you see, previously the content of this file was output but not the long listing, just the normal LX. But now we've changed everything to the long listing, and to confirm it again, we can open it in Vim editor to check it. So I will use Vim so that we can see it, and as you can see, the result is still the same. I can even edit it. See, I'm typing, but I'm not going to save this. Okay, so how do you ensure that you don't lose your results? You use the double greater than. So this is going to append. It is not going to truncate. It is going to append the results to your file. So before we go, let me just show you a new way of creating a file, because since it truncates, it can create a file for you. So let's call this trunk.txt. And if we do an ls, we are going to see that file, trunk.txt, but it's an empty file. So back to what we are trying to do. So instead of truncating, we want to append, okay? So for one last time, let's truncate again. So I'm going to do LX, the normal LX, okay, into output. Enter. So if we do the VRM trying to edit this file called output again, you can see now that the result has been changed again to the normal LX, and that's what we just did. But what if we don't want to remove what we have previously, but we want to add to it? We want to add to it. Take note. To add to it is simple. We can add the new results by saying LX AL, then using the double greater than. Take note, double greater than is going to append to the file. So to append to that same file, we say output, enter. Okay, now we have appended to what we have currently inside this file. We've appended the result of this command to this file. So what we have inside of this file previously will still be there, but now we've added new content. So let's check it. Vim, and as you can see, it worked. So we had the previous result from using normal LX, and now we have the new result when you use the long format. Okay, so let's go out. Now the next thing we talked about was the error. So error or status comes in form of something like this. So LX, when we try to assess what is not correct, so this is it. And if I try to add this to that file called output, it's not going to work because it's an error file. Or you know what, let's create a new file. So let me do LX and let me call this error. Okay, I'm using the normal standard output. So if we do vim of error.txt, you can see it contains some content. Okay, now so let me do ls, I think. Okay, all right. So now we have vim.error and it contains what? It contains some. Okay, oh, there's an issue, so I have to remove this. Sorry guys, LX. There's a swipe file I need to take out, so remove dot error. Okay, now so let's go into the error file. So currently I have the long listing. I have the listing of all the files and folders inside of this folder, but this is not what we want here. We want an error inside of this place. So now to get the error inside there, we have to use another command. So previously we've been using the double greater than, but for you to send error inside of a folder, okay, for you to send error in, you have to use this command. So we say LX, but before I do an error, let me show you the command for error. So LX, then 2, okay, greater than, into error.txt. But take note, this command is not going to bring an error because there will be a result. Okay, so let's see what happens if we try to push this error into error.txt. So we've pushed error into error.txt, and let's see the content of error.txt. But take note, some command line may act funny. So as you can see, it has truncated the file, but because there was no error, it has shown you it truncated the file, but because there was no error, there was nothing to put inside of this file. So let's try to create an error. So to create an error is just to do something that does not exist. So let's say LX, see all my files and folder. I don't have this folder I want to use, so it's going to bring an error. So I'll just call this no/fg/gh. This folder does not exist, so naturally this is going to be an error, and hopefully this should now store inside of our file. So now let's check error.txt. And as you can see, we've been able to store that error. Can you see it? Cannot access, no FG, no such directory. Okay, so that is the difference. That is the difference between the standard output and the standard error or the status. So a recap, if you want to store your output of any command, you use greater than or double greater than if you don't want to delete your previous content. And if you want to store error, you use 2 greater than to store errors. Now, talking about redirection will not be complete if we don't talk about some of these commands. And the first command, which you must have been using before, is called the cat or concatenate. So what is cat? Cat is used to concatenate the content of 2 files. That is, to join 2 files together. But you can also use it to read files. So, how do we work with this? Let's edit 2 of the files we have here and put some content in them. So I will edit ABC. And I'm going to say, this is a first file. Precious. There's a reason why I'm doing that, so that we'll be able to check it out properly. So let me save this. Then let's also edit the next file, def. And let's say editing suspended. Editing suspended, and this was by Henry. Now we can use cat to concatenate the content of this file, but first we can use cat to see the content of a file. So ABC, can you see it's printed out the result of that file for us? But now we can use cat to concatenate the content of both files. Let me clear this first. So cat ABC and cat and def. And as you can see, it has concatenated both files to our output. Now, what if, like what if we try to send it to, let's say, a result called abcdef.txt? We redirect. What if we redirect the output to a file called abcdef? And let's see if it happens or if we are correct. So let's use Vim to open the file. As you can see, it has concatenated both files together and sent the content of both files into another file. So you can use concatenate or cat to join 2 files or 3 or 4 files together. But that is not just it on cat. Also on cat, you can use it to take input from the computer. So cat is a standard input command. So let's say cat only and enter. And if I start typing, I am a Nigerian. If I press enter, can you see what is happening? It takes the input and redirects it back to us on the output. Hello there. Can you see? But instead of doing this on our command or on the output, we can redirect it to another file, or we can stylishly create a simple word processor. So to move out of this, use Ctrl D. Okay, so we can say cat, then a file. Let's call this file typist.txt. So what happens now is, if I use an enter, if I enter this command, anything I type will be sent to this typist file. Okay, let's try it out. I typed this on the cat command to send input to the typist file. And when you are done, you use Ctrl G, Ctrl D to complete your command. So that's Ctrl D. Now let's see what we have inside of the typist file, if it worked as we expected it. And as you can see, we have the content that we were typing on our screen. It has been redirected into the typist file. This was what we typed exactly. So that is it on the concatenate command. Now, what is the next command that we can work with? It's called sorting. So this helps us to sort lines of text. So the command is sort. But before we can use the sort command, we need to take note of what we call pipe. So pipe is used to send the output of one command to another command. So when you use a pipe, anything before the pipe is sent to everything outside after the pipe command. So when you use the pipe, you can now use commands like sort and less. So let's try that of less. So let's assume we want to see all the files that we have again. Normally, it will print them on the screen like this, right? But we can send everything from here to the less command using pipe. So, and as you can see, instead of it showing on our screen, you are using the less command to see the result of that command. So what this have done is, it sent the results of the ls command to the less command. So you use Q to quit. You use Q to quit. Now that we've been able to do that, what if we want to sort our output? So let's do LX and less. Let's send the result of LS to less. So take note. So what if we want to sort? So to sort, you also change the command. So LX sort. Then after sorting, it should do what? It should send it to us, send everything to the less command. So let's check them out there. So you may not see the difference because the files are naturally sorted. But if we do something like ls.al, pipe it to less, you can see that the files are kind of, disoriented. So you have 8411123144441. If we use the sort command, it's going to change how these files appears. So ls al sort less, and as you can see, it has rearranged the file. It started rearranging them, trying to do that with their sizes. Then after sizes, it went ahead to start rearranging them with the that is the user. Okay, so but everything here is just precious. Then after using sizes, it went ahead to start using the add link. So this 111 here that you're seeing is called add link. So it sorted everything based on the add link. So you see, it started from 1111111 down. Then after doing that, it tried to sort them also by permissions. Can you see? So the first permission is only read and write. It went ahead to start sorting by those that have read and write and read only, down till you go to directory then. So you can see what the sort does. It actually helps you to sort your files. So that is sort. But then you also have a new command called unique. So unique helps us to omit or remove repeated line. So let's go back to this file called ABC. Let's edit it, ABC. I have more than one. Okay, let me use ABCDF. Oh, sorry. So let me go back and use the right file. So vim abcd. So right now we are in this file. So let's edit and add more duplicate. That was why I was adding duplicates before. So I'm going to add duplicates, duplicates, duplicates. So if we check the content of that file, okay, let's use cat. You can see that it prints out all the results for us. You know, everything that files contain, we can see them on our screen. But what if you don't want to see everything, so you want to be able to remove duplicates? It's as simple as doing something like cat abcd, then you pipe it and you say remove duplicates. So let's see. And as you can see, previously we had precious, Henry, it removed it. But the reason why you have this other duplicate is because this one started with a small letter. So let's confirm that. So this is the file without the duplicate filter, without removing duplicates. And this is the file with removing duplicates. So take note, these two are the same file. You know, see, the same thing. So when we remove the duplicates, we only have it once. These two are the same thing, precious, same uppercase, first uppercase letter. But when we remove duplicates, you have it as one. So that's the idea. You use unique to remove repeated lines. So if you want to do this without removing duplicates, you can just pipe it and say D. Okay. So with this one, you've totally removed all repetitions. So that is, you are only bringing out the files that are duplicates. I don't know if you get it. So let's go over it again. The middle file is the way the file is normally. Then when you use the unique command without any flag, it prints out all the results, but it deletes the duplicates. But if you want to see only the duplicates in the file, you use the flag /D, and it shows you only the duplicates inside of that file. So again, when you use only unique, it removes the duplicates and show you the remaining content of the file. But if you use the flag D with unique, it shows you, it removes all the duplicates and show you what they are. So that is the difference. Now, there is another command called WC. WC helps you to print out the lines, the words and the byte count of any file. So let's use it on this, our very common file, ABCDF. So word count. And as you can see, the first one is the line count. So let me use cat so that we can be able to count it. So the first one is the line count. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you see we have 9 lines, and that is what this is telling you. It shows that the ABCDF file contains 9 lines and 14 words. Let's count the words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 words, and everything in total is in size of 99 bytes. So let's see if that is true. So you see, it is 99 bytes, and that's what it is showing here. And then it shows you the name of the file. So that is what WC does. And you can actually flag it and just check out for only some particular content. So if you say flag L of ABCDEF, sorry. So WC flag L of ABCD. Oh, I I typed it twice. So WC flag L of A, B, C, D. You see, it will only print out the line. So we just printed out only the line count. But there are some application of this and there are some application of everything. So it depends on you. Just play around, and for you to see more commands, just do something like WC/help to see other flags that you can use. So these are other flags. The one I just used is L for lines only. You can do for characters only or bytes. Okay, so let's clear this, and that is your WC. The next one is grep. So grep or egrep, they are the same thing, or egrep. It is used, as it says, to print lines matching a pattern. So what is a pattern? A pattern is basically a search command. So a pattern could be something like, let's say, we can say egrep search for Preshi in the file ABCDF. I know we have it, that's why I'm doing it. Let's try that again. Let's start with grep. No, let's do egrep. Egrep. So let's put it in a quotes. ABC. Oh, that didn't work. So let's try grep. Inside the file ABCD. Let me clear out the terminal. There's an issue somewhere. So, but basically, you use grep or egrep to print out. You use it to print out matching. When you have, what's it called? You have patterns. So you want to check for patterns. You use egrep. So I believe there's something wrong, but I think we are correct. So let's check that file ABCD. Let's concatenate ABCD. Let's see why. So you see the reason was because the pattern was not matching. So let's match the pattern. I was using small letter. So if we say grep, so Preshi, so you have to match the pattern. So it has to be, if it's uppercase, it has to be uppercase. So we want to check for Presh inside of ABCDF. Okay. And as you can see, it went inside of the file and it found two lines that contains the word Presh, and it's even highlighting them for you. So to also let you know that egrep is the same, let's use egrep. But this time, let's use it for Henry. So let's say we're looking for N. Okay, N inside of that file, ABCDF. And as you can see, egrep also went into the file to look for N. And when he saw N in two lines, and he printed the two lines for you. So you have it on two lines, Henry, and you see it is colored. So it's telling you now that I went inside of this file and I was able to match the pattern. So that is it on grep and egrep. And like I said, if you want to understand more, do this and type help, and you are going to see so many flags that you can use in your pattern matching. So many flags. There's just a lot of them. So the one I just used, is this egrep. Is the same thing as egrep /e. So you use the same pattern for matching. So always read the manual, or like it says, read the fucking manual. And you can also ensure that you also check the help command so that you can see more flags than you can use. Now the next one is head and tail. Head and tail are pretty much together. The head prints out the first 10 lines of a file, and the tail prints out the last 10 lines of a file. So let's see one of our long file. I think that will be output. Yes, so output is a long file. So let's use output for this. Yes, let's use the output. So clear. So take note of the top of output and the bottom. So let's clear. So if we say head of output, you see it printed out the first 10 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if we say tail of output, it's going to print the bottom 10 lines from the bottom. See, these are the 10 lines in tail in the output file, but it counted from the bottom. What if you want to print the first 3 lines from the head, from above? So you can say something like head 3 output, and as you can see, the first 3 lines. What if you want to print the last line on the file? You can say tail output, okay, last line, and as you can see, we have the last line, zash, zash. So you see, it's just pretty much you finding how you can use these commands. But like you know, head is going to print the 10 first line, and tail is going to print the last 10 line from the bottom. And don't forget, you can use all these files with your redirection, okay? You can redirect it. In short, let's redirect tail to a new file. So let's call this tail1.txt, and it has been redirected. So let's check the content of the tail1.txt file. So let's use vim tail1, and as you can see, it contains the result of that command. So if you don't want a command on your screen, you can redirect to another file. And I think it's also very good to always redirect things to files so that you can have records for them. So clear. So the next command we have is to print or to cut selected line. So to cut a line, so to use cut, you have to specify the character position. So something like cut. So cut helps you to check out files, but it kind of cuts them. So you use the character position. Let's say we want to check out all the characters on position 5 inside of the output file. So you see we have series of t, arrow. Let's see why that is, okay? We set character 5, position 5, TAT. So let's check output file, cat. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's why we have T. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, TAT. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why we have TAT from the beginning. And if you see a lot of arrow, I think it came from this side. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, see a lot of arrow. So it came down here and it picked out all the characters on this line. So like you know already, we can pipe it or we can redirect it to another file by saying, let's say, we say cut and we move it to a file called cut.txt. So you see the point of redirecting. Instead of having so many content on the screen, you just push everything to another file. So let's check that file. Let's use vim to check it. And as you can see, it contains all that gibberish that we cannot make sense of. So that is cut. And like I will always say, if you want to learn more about cut, you say cut help, and there you have it. You can read up on it. I just use this guy, C, there is B, there is D, there is F, different flags. Okay. The next one is T arrow. So T arrow does a simple thing like cat. It helps you to translate. So let's say I want to translate everything I type that is precious. So anywhere there is precious, you should change it to Henry. Okay. So enter. I can type anything I like, no problem. But when I type precious, see what happens. Can you see? So it types precious, But because it doesn't match, it fills it up with y till, because the characters have to match in the same numbers too, like the character count. So it tries to fill it up. Let's try it with smaller characters. So let's use characters that are the same. So let's say translate cat to what? To dog. So anytime I type cat, we get dog. So let me try lion first. You see the command does not match. Let me type goat. But when I do, sorry. So look at what is happening. It went inside of this file and it is changing the words. So if we now do cat, so look at what happened here. Where you add T, it changes it to what? To G. Where you add A, it changes it to O. Where you add A, so the goat, look at it. The A in the goat turned to O. The G in the goat turned to, the T in the cat turned to G. And the cat becomes, dog. So you just use this to change characters around. So if I type something else, it's going to bring back something else for me. Okay. So Control D. So let's try one last one. So TR, I want to turn everywhere I get I want to turn it to A. So if I say miss, it turns to mass. This, das, kiss, cas. So that is basically what translate does. And like you can redirect all these results into another file. So clear. And the last on our list is find. So find is used to search for files in directory hierarchy. So you use find to search for files. So to use find, let's use the find help. So let's say find help. Let's just see how it works. So it says that find is used to, there's no definition for it. But basically, we use find to check for files. We use it to search through our files to find. So you use it to search for files in directory hierarchy. So let me clear this. So let's assume in this directory we are currently inside of okay, Alex, let's see what everything we have here. Okay, so we are inside of this file folder and we have a lot of files and folders. Let's see if we can get all the empty ones. So to get all the empty ones, to find them, we say find inside of the current folder, our current folder. And what are we looking for? We are looking for all the empty files. So now it has gone in, searched, and it has brought all the empty files for us. So let's check if it is true. It says test is empty. Let's check if test is empty. So let's use cat test.test. So you can see it is empty. Let's check ghi.test and let's see if it is empty. Or let's check trunk first. Remember trunk, that empty file we created then. Trunk. So you see, it checks inside of the file if they have content, or it checks the size of the file if it is equal to 0. So let's check ghi. Empty. So there you have it, guys. We've been able to talk about shell redirections and filters, okay, and everything we've been doing has been filtering. When we use the pipe, when we use these guys, when we use this guy as the pipe, we try to filter the command. So you get in the command, you filter it to another command, and it's also called piping. So we've been able to talk about shell redirections and filter, and how to redirect your standard output or redirect your standard error to files or different files. And also we touched on concatenate, sort, unique, word count, grep, head, tail, cut, translate, and last but not the least, find. So this is just to bring you into it. On your own, you can practice and learn more on how to use these commands. So guys, thank you. I'll see you in the next one.